Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the 22-page short story. It's called In the Machinery of Dreams. It's by Thomas Fuller. He is an editor. He also has written some musicals and some screenplays and stage plays and stuff like that have been performed in various places and so forth. So now he's writing a short story, a 22-page short story in this collection that we just knocked out for you last night that we were doing a deep dive into for you folks. It was published in 1996. I picked it up then when I was doing it when I was in college, doing a deep dive into Michael Moorcock's stuff because he was my favorite author at the time for 4 years, from high school to college. And then so I picked it up, but I never actually read it because none of the things, except for the first one, sort of just started, are with characters or with the author. So the idea is, let's see what other authors, get a chance to feel about it and so forth. And I just finished going back and doing a deep dive into Michael Moorcock's stuff and the Eternal Champion that this is set in. And I felt that, knocking these out for the first time since I owned it would be a nice, final way of saying goodbye to the deep dive of many of his novels that I just did for you folks. So there you are. So that's sort of what the context of happening. As a reminder, the Eternal Champion series is a multiversal conflict where every plane of existence is an alternate plane, and it has a central conflict between law versus chaos. And this is the Eternal Champion, the avatar, if you will, that's fighting the good fight on these various planes of existence. And that person will have a companion. In this case, they're in the story, a love interest, a sword that's nasty, typically in most places, and so forth. And the key character, the one that was the big hit from the era, was Elric of Melnibity, and who is Sword Stormbringer. He was born with pangs of conscience, but an evil humanoid race called the Melnibians. They're nasty evil, just like the Dark Elves from Drizzt, and so forth. Although he's more of an anti-hero, one of the first anti-heroes actually, and so forth. And so he was that key character and was the beloved character of that day, if you will. So, and this actually is a short story set in Elric's world. This 22-page short story for you folks. And I thought it was actually very suitable. There have been some Elric stories that I've read, like the first Elric story in here, The Inquiry, which was horrible, because it was a mid-1990s version of taking a character that was already darkened and jaded and an anti-hero and turning it up to 11, saying, okay, now this guy's going to be really dark, jaded, and an anti-hero, but beyond belief. Right, and so forth. And I didn't buy it because that was, sort of the mid-90s take on it, and so forth. I sort of felt like that was of its time, but I feel like this one was a little different. I enjoyed what ended up happening. So we're going to follow a few different characters in the Machinery of Dreams concept. Our first point of view character is somebody from another plane of existence who arrives in Elric's plane, and so forth. And she arrives, she's tumbling, she calls herself the Lioness, with a couple of folks that are talking to her telepathically and so forth, and now she's going to wait for the white one. And since Ulrich is Alpine, we already know that's going to be Elric on the second page, and so now she's going to wait for him and so forth. So but before that, we have the dream of Elric and so forth. And so then after her waiting for 2 pages in a 2-page story, we have her dream of her and what's going on and so forth, and then they're going to be adventuring, him and Moonglum, his companion, on page starting about halfway through page 2 after her dream. So forth. As a reminder, I keep my review spoiler free, so I typically only do the first couple pages just sort of get your feet wet as to what's actually happening in the Machinery of Dreams here. And so if I didn't like it, I thought this guy was good. This guy's written musicals, he's written stage plays, right? He's an editor of a non-fiction magazine and such. So he is somebody who's written, but not really that much in fiction, but I thought he was good. I thought it was fine. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought this was pretty solid version of Elric, because I thought that it was I thought that it was acceptably adult-like, like Moorcock's take on it already was, right? And so there, I'll go ahead and leave you to it. I enjoyed this, so I'm probably giving this like a 7 out of 10, or a 6.5 maybe. It's longer and so forth. It does have a lot of descriptions in places, which sort of detract from it. And so forth. In a longer 22-page short story like this, it really feels more like the first page in a novel, except the ending is suitable for a short story, rather. And it takes a while to get into the fights. You're probably about like 55 or 60% of the way through the short story before you actually get to the combat part of it that's happening. So that's pretty sad. But anyway, there you go. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. That is In the Machinery of Dreams for you folks. It's set in the Eternal Champion stories. I'm giving you 6.5 and 7 out of 2. So there you are. As a reminder, this channel's name is The Worst Thing About New Books. That's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And this is a whole short story that was written for this collection, not previously written in 1996. Decades ago, right? It's where the passion of this channel comes from for you folks. Then, also, just as if you've read this, let me know what you think about it. If you agree or disagree about 6.5 or 7 out of 10, just talk about the comments below. If you want to talk about spoilers, just put in spoiler text, let's do it too. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot more easy to follow with my 3 posts a week. If you like it, hit the like button, hit the bell icon if you're feeling frisky, so you'll be known to those 3 posts, and then share it with your friends. And then finally, I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it, watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we have pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.